Hello, friends of Arcata. We are here getting started. Thank you so much for your patience while we work through the technical side of things. It's a good reminder, Outer Space is all volunteer run. So any donations that can be dropped to help keep rent open for this place that supports a ton of local artists and touring artists. All volunteer led. It's pretty awesome. I'm Katherine Nunes-Siciliani. I'm one of the poets performing tonight, and I just want to come up to introduce the folks who are going to be coming on. We got a pretty exciting show. Starting off, we're going to have Crystal Diaz, local poet and one of my good friends. Following, we're going to have Dylan Collins. And we are also going to have touring poets, the Cowboy Yetis and Other Roadside Oddities tour featuring Daryl, Gussin, and James Norman. And then we are afterward, following up for the end of the show, we're going to have Greg B. and friends. So thank you, everyone. Please give a warm welcome to Crystal.
Hey guys, it's been a while since I shared some words, so thank you, Brandon, for inviting me to be here. I'm gonna try this poem from the noggin, but I'm gonna have it here in case I need it. So, spores fell through a portal, mycelial networks grew for hundreds of Central Valley miles under oak tree forests until rain saturated the earth, sun presented me a direction to grow, and I, a single mushroom, emerged from shit and dirt. Flowers are loud and beautiful, yelling fuck me to buzzing bees. They need to be seen, they need sun rays to touch their greens. I'm more mycelium than floret. I much prefer growing under the soil, unseen, moving low-key has always kept prying fingers from ravaging. Growing strong off decay, I eat insects like bees, grim reaper, and god filaments grow from my palms. And when conditions are ideal, I rise out of the soil. Yes, I have arrived, beautiful and delicious, bruised blue and psychedelic. Mysterious intricacies evolve mischievously. Mycelium fucks itself to reproduce. I fuck myself and watch my prosperity duplicate. This next poem I finished after the election results, and I've also been reading The Motorcycle Diaries by Che Guevara, and that's really interesting, and so I feel like all that kind of wraps up into this poem. U.S. imperialism walks from country to country, leaving footprints filled with shit and coups. Casually fills its pockets with metals, sugars, gems without one thank you. Blames casualties on leaders they funded and militias they armed. Slowly walks back home, simultaneously starts a new war, and sell you some crap made out of plastic you'll throw away in a few months. Legislation to teach children false histories, creating adults who want to keep Columbus Day on the calendar. To learn the true history of any country, you'll have to actively seek out every false narrative taught to you in public school. Like the 34-plus coups in the 24 countries of Latin America, learning that U.S. actions lead back to why people have to flee their native countries. All while paying overpriced rent, food that's doubled in price, and pay taxes to fund Israel's free healthcare and education. The land of the uneducated and the home of the corrupt. That's what I got. This is gonna be my last poem. This is like, I've actually been working this on for a while. It's very environmental science based, because that's what I'm into. Yeah. It's new. Yeah. Greedy goblins with clenched fists and clean nails devour tree after tree without lifting a finger, turning ancient ancestors into fields of nothing but stumps, replanting dark forest filled with one kind of tree, fuck Doug firs, no biodiversity, monoculture monopoly. Ecosystems exploited as natural resources, focused on the wrong kind of growth, Q4, what will stockholders profit from when they have exploited everything she grows? Tired of land management, more interested in land back, facilitate, regenerate, healthy forests, or healthy growth, interconnected forests where life grows. Bring fire back to the landscape, fuck Smokey the Bear. Low intensity to burn away the scars of colonialism. Thanks, guys.
Everybody make some noise right now for Crystal Diaz.
Let's go!
Also, I love her and I'm going to marry her next year. But also, she's a goddamn good poet. That was beautiful. And that new one is fire. I hadn't heard it yet. How y'all feeling in Arcata on this rainy Wednesday night? Yeah, it's cozy in here. My name's Dylan Collins. I'm going to read some poems for y'all tonight before the amazing features get up here. And Katherine next. Shit. This one's from my first book. Got published like in 2019. I know. 2019 was a whole ass lifetime. I want to know if there's a thought revolution growing on the left side of your chest. Tell me about the dreams you had in the chest of drawers beside your bed. I want to know what your grandmother said to you to make you who you are. Let's talk about the method to your madness and the story of your scars. Let's have a bold conversation on the destruction of oppression and the traditions that your family taught you and what you hold on to. Your favorite Saturday morning cereal and the hardest thing you've ever had to do. What type of colors are you drawn to? What did you draw the most when you were a kid? Did you ever skid your bike under the concrete and when you bled, did you get back up and keep riding down the street? How do you greet strangers? And when no one's looking, do you cheat? Let's talk about the deepest parts about you, the sour and the sweet. Close your eyes if you want to. Imagine the crisp glow of turquoise reflecting off the moonlight on the night you felt most in love with the sunset. Imagine the light and the echo of each star reflecting off the canyon north of Taos, New Mexico, the night you kissed your past to sleep. Imagine the kitchen where your grandmother cooked, the smell emanating from the oven, flour floating through the air. When she claps her hands, you taste biscuits and gravy. Imagine the walls of the room where you had your first daydream. Breathe in the texture of the infinite potential of possibilities, a free-spirited spiral you paint with pastels and colored pencils above your head. Imagine the sound of dissonance and how this prepares you to receive the resolution of harmony on the release of perfectly paired black and white piano keys. In each note, imagine the sensation of anticipated touch. Fingertips, flames of tender, thunderous, reciprocated release, two bodies that were isolation, rhyming a dream of connection into reality. Imagine your favorite pen. Imagine a notebook page so fresh it fell from the sky. Now open your eyes. Each trauma you hold tight becomes a tear you release, each fear falling onto paper. In the dictionary of obscure sorrows, a xeno is defined as the smallest measurable unit of human connection. Short moments that are fleeting and random but contain powerful emotional nutrients that can alleviate our symptoms of feeling so alone. In each shared nod, glance, and smile, we sow seeds into the shallowness of our differences with the sweet, soft crush of all of our intersecting stories. We are all made up of these moments. Each a raindrop falling under the feet of poetic prophets, breakdancing outside a Bull City baptism. Every sneaker beat tilling the soil under the sidewalk for us to grow, to learn, to be the change we wish for. The silence of space between the stars when we are alone feels like a quilt of questions, an immense infinity of why can't this be easier? Why is there not more that we can do? But this is the dissonance. And we are the resolution, the small moments to make harmony when the clouds come. This is a shower that will be a sea of change, because what is the ocean but a collection of persistent raindrops? Thanks, y'all. Also have a couple of books if anyone wants to buy some, but first definitely buy all of the Touring Poet stuff, and if you have anything left, I got two. This called Pardons by Poets. Do you need a serious-sounding physical ailment to cover for just how truly terrible you feel on the inside? Do you need more creativity in creating bodily excuses to somehow explain the excruciating pain you experience just living in your thoughts today? Do you live in our society and someday you just want to break your own leg to receive some semblance of the sympathy your employers, coworkers, friends, and family so openly express to those with real physical injuries, just so they know this crushing weight on your chest is real and not imaginary? If your answer is yes, then you just might be attempting to live with mental illness in America, or you might be a poet, or a combination of both. Either way, don't delay, friend. Please call 1-800-PARDONS by Poets today. We have an extremely creative and innovative staff of writers ready to take on the very real experience of your mental health crisis and transform it into something tangible the rest of it, let's face it, lazy-ass world understands. Is Susan giving you the side-eye tisk again when you needed a mental health day for the rock bottom of your depressive swing? Boom! We got this. Food poisoning from the rival sushi restaurant across from the one Susan loves downtown. Suddenly, that tisk turns into a get-well basket, and take your time coming back. It's magic. Are the Bobs in corporate coming down on you for when you had to leave early yesterday, when you had one of the worst panic attacks of your life? Boom! Dislocated shoulder. Sling not provided. From doing too much overtime. Take that, Bobs. Our team of poets are here for you, to give you the time you need to heal from the real trauma and pain that you experience due to your illness, just like, say, someone recovering from the flu, food poisoning, or, say, a dislocated shoulder, for example. Thankfully, at 1-800-PARDONS by Poets, we got you, probably because we're also you. And we'll fight to write excuses for you until the rest of the world catches the fuck up. Thank you. How many? Like one or two more? Is that one or two? Okay. All right. I'll do one and then a short one, and then I'll be out of here. The jail and the courthouse are the two biggest buildings in Humboldt County, and I swallow a metaphor for all 146,788 of its square feet, a persona poem. Do y'all know what a persona poem is? Yeah, y'all know. It's when, yeah, you got it. Just want to make sure it's not my voice. I am a mighty monument of injustice. It ain't just us. I'm conscious. I can find dreams by design. I eat lawyers who think they lions every morning at 8 a.m. By 8:30, I've spit out the bones of any remaining morals or mercy. I'm a silent systemic script that snaps necks if you try to rough up their generational wealth. These pasty privileged people pump me full of green bills like nutrients. I get bigger year by year. They love me so much. I am the biggest building in all their stolen land, a cement castle with paradoxical palm trees where the protests pack rage and resistance. The people who feed me got history hanging from their entitlement rafters. They can't hear you. They can't hear us. I dream about the wildflowers. Beautiful dirt I once was before drywall. Concrete was my life sentence. They drowned my soul penitentiary. The human hearts that beat dreams with captivating conviction deeper than a court conviction could spend the last pulse of life buried behind my bars because of a broken system. Break me, please. Crack, fracture, breach my barriers, destroy dirty DAs, collapse crooked cops. When your justice building towers over the places meant to support, empower the population, and there better be justice. But Josiah's killer still lives in McKinleyville, and my still beams ache with all that I have witnessed from above it all. Thank you. Yeah, look great. Thank you for coming out, and I'm excited to hear the next poets and Katherine. I got one more, and I'm out of here. Oh, Greg B. What's that one? Oh. Sure. You're my favorite poet, Greg B. All right. I think I. New York isn't good or bad. It's just everything. Sometimes life is like driving in New York. If you want to make a left-hand turn, you got to push your way in and cut a couple motherfuckers off. Sometimes you also got to honk when you do it and talk about their mom just to be a dick because, well, it's New York. Sometimes moments become poetry even before we write them down. Senior students who didn't think they could write 6 months ago put out their first book isn't good or bad. It's just bears linebacker determination. Seeing the little girl who you read to for 5 years, she grew, become the most badass 10-year-old on the planet who loves art, karate, and reads books like Sustenance. Seeing her smile, seeing her light up like the North Star isn't anything but the proudest moment of your life. Seeing your son's grave for the first time without crying isn't good or bad. It's just healing. Shit. That was the wrong order. Sometimes, when you reach into your left-hand pocket, it just sucks to be broke. But bank accounts don't account for your Jimmy Stewart balance, how rich you are in people. People really give two shits about whether you live or die, crash or fly. Those people really come in short supply, so don't lose them. Losing friends isn't good or bad. It's just getting older. I don't have any blood family within 3,000 miles of my address, but somehow this place right here feels as close to blood as I've ever known. Shit. Sorry, Greg. I was right. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. So, as close to blood as I've ever known. Shit. Hold on. Shit. I forgot. Oh, there we go. That's the one. The Northeast isn't good or bad. It's just really fucking cold. California isn't good or bad. It's just home now. Poetry isn't good or bad. It just saved my life. Sometimes writing a love poem to yourself is the closest thing to God speaking that you can think of. And then sometimes you're on a high because you look back and realize how many times you should have died in the past 10 years, but you're still here. Able to write these words with this pen, speak these words with this mouth, and share this moment with you. Sharing this moment isn't good or bad. It's just something we should never take for granted. Sometimes we let our past become slanted away from our goals, but in these moments, stay humble with your shine. Devour your sorrows like hangover breakfast, and don't be fragile when you need to be cement. What this meant is this world is full of beautiful, terrible things that aren't good or bad. They're just what we've got. So don't be careless with these moments, because the ones that we would die for, they die sometimes, and all that's left is these moments, these memories, and these people we meet in this everything. Thank you. Whew. I wasn't sure if I could remember it all, but I got it. Okay. Y'all, how you feeling? I like the energy. We're getting up there on this. So our next poet coming to the stage is an amazing community member in so many ways, and always supports all the different arts, supports the farmers, the scene, like so many different people, and is a great friend and human. And so glad I haven't got to hear your poetry for a little bit. And y'all are very blessed and lucky to hear her words tonight. Make some noise for Katherine, all the way to the stage. Oh yeah, come on, let's go. Okay, bring it up. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Thanks, Dylan. Good job. Dylan is very tall, so forgive me. Oh, here we are. Wait, what happened here? Why is it way up here? Because this wants to come down. Oh, I see. No, help. That one. Okay, cool. Perfect. Thank you. See, we learn new things every day, folks. Sometimes it's how the mic works. Thank you, Crystal and Dylan. Also, it was Dylan's birthday yesterday, all. So happy birthday, Dylan. Yeah, always such good themes of hope and all of the good stuff. That's why we're here, right? Like to share words with each other. These spaces are super critical for community. Even when we want to be like cozy at home on these winter nights in our beds, like it's so important to come out and show up for each other, just especially with the news and just things that are happening. Like just showing up to a space like this and just being in the proximity of other people is extremely important. Even if you can't talk to anybody else, even if you're like not in the mood, like stay connected to other people. That is how we move through all of the bullshit that is happening. So it might feel small, but this is the good stuff. This is why we're here. I'm going to read 3 poems tonight, and then we've got our fantastic featured traveling poets coming up, the Cowboy Yetis, and then we've got Greg B coming up on to finish up the show. I'm going to say a few more words before I read my poems. Thanks. I am a poet who likes to write about grief and hope and kind of those intersections, right? Like many of us do. But I like to preface that because I think we often are shut off from our grief, and I try to write about that and kind of bring light to that to encourage other people to think about the things in your life you might be grieving and maybe trying to shut your mind off from, but feeling your feelings is super important. My body is ready to fight or fly at the mere thought of a typo in an email sent to someone who, in the grand scheme of things, means very little to me. They say the body keeps the score, so watch me remove my very own bones. Watch me carve them from this temple, gently toss them in a pot set to boil, simmer every last sliver of trauma-infused bone marrow. Watch how I make bone broth from this stored energy. How I take a sip each time I need a little bit of inner strength, a little bit of a pick-me-up, if you will. Pick me up. I will. I'll sip again and again and again. Swallow every last drop. Let the marrow melt over my tongue. My body is safe here. Our bodies are safe here. Will you guys say that with me one more time? My body is safe here. Our bodies are safe here. My body is safe here. Our bodies are safe here. Cool, thanks. That's the end of that poem. I appreciate it. Thank you. November's a weird one. It is a death anniversary for me and someone really important to me. And so I'm going to take the opportunity to read a poem that is more for me that I hope you all can perhaps resonate with and maybe call to mind someone who is important to you, who is maybe no longer here. And then I'm going to read a poem that's not sad and as a palate refresher. So we're gonna have a good time. One day, I will write this grief out of my body. On another, I will write my father out of my dreams. Perhaps one day, oh, nope. I'm going to start over. One day, I will write this grief out of my body. On another, I will write my father out of my dreams. See, I'm certain I have held on to everything I've ever lost. I keep it all stuffed inside my pockets, ready at any moment to reminisce with a simple reach of my hand. My father's laugh can be found in my right pocket alongside the sherbet skies of a Salida sunset. Sometimes I think he lives there now. 18 years later, I wrote this poem 2 years ago. 18 years later, I stand at my bedside to contemplate everything and nothing all at once as I tend to do. I feel a presence just behind my left shoulder, turn to see no one, swear I saw a shadow move, swear he was right there. 18 years later, I look for him everywhere. I usually find him in the ocean, in the sand, in the sky, in the mirror. My therapist asks where I feel it in my body, as if my hand is not absent-mindedly placed upon my chest for my every fleeting thought. I do not tell him I believe my father may also live inside of my chest, though when he died, he may have carved a crevice into the skin just above my sternum, how he lives there now and may never leave, how I'm not sure I'd want him to anyway, how I've known my father most in my grief of him, and if I let it go, what then will I have? One day I may write this grief out of my everyday. Today I swallow every piece. Thank you. It's important to miss people and remember all of the good times with people and to not shut ourselves off from loss, because I think we do that in Western society, right? We're like, we don't often feel things with each other. And so I just want to give you all permission to do that. Even if it's a little woo-woo, even if it's not your thing, the space is there. Okay, this is a fun one that I like to do. This is the hopeful side of the way I like to write. My mother always said, ain't nothing like a fresh paint job. Says there is nothing like replacing old with the new. So upon moving, I gave the old room a coat of paint to say goodbye. The color called simply white to say, I like to leave things better than I found them. I said hello to the new room the same way. Spent way too much time staring at all the colors on the hardware store wall before choosing Man on the Moon. A creamy yellow to bring me light on cloudy days. See, a fresh paint job is a housewarming party for yourself. It offers new beginnings and uplifting words like, you deserve nice things. And there is something so special about the meticulous nature of cutting in along the line of trim with steady, even brushstrokes that says, you got this. Fresh Paint Job says, thank you for loving your future self enough to soothe the you who stares at the wall. See, my mind is impeccable at the art of fixation. It distracts me from the important stuff and tells me the real problem is with the years-old patches of spackle on the wall, noticeable against the characteristic clinical white of the rental room. Tells me the real problem is not my broken heart. It's just that I should have painted the room 3 years ago instead of saying it's only a temporary stay. But Man on the Moon Yellow has no time for bullshit like this. Says, it's okay to stare at your broken heart. You are safe between these clean, clear, warm, and welcoming walls. Says, you do what you put your mind to, and you are good at it. My mom always said there is nothing like a fresh paint job, and I believe her. Thank you. All right, y'all. It is time for that part of the show, the one you've all been waiting for. We have Cowboys, Yetis, and Other Roadside Oddities tour featuring Daryl, Gussin, and James Norman. I'm actually not sure which of them is going on first. So we're going to have Daryl on first. Fantastic. Everybody give a warm round of applause. Thank you so much.
Maybe I'll paint my room when I get home. It's been 15 years, you know? It's enough time to look at the same terrible green color. Thanks for having me, everybody. It's great to be here. I got a series of poems I'm going to read. I'm not really going to stop between them or talk about the titles or anything. So just enjoy the flow of them. This one is for those who have gone numb. Those who cared so hard and for so long, while so many made it so clear that they just didn't care. Those who spoke up and spoke out until their body could no longer produce a sound and then had to sit in disbelief as they watched in pain while everything was just totally normal, disturbingly normal, numbingly normal. Multiple people engulfed themselves in flames, hoping the charred flesh would elicit a rousing chorus of sympathy, only to be met with silence and inaction. Great thinkers constructed convincing arguments to sway the tides of power, only to be met with silence and inaction. The fathers followed the party line while another infant was flung into the flames, and the mother silently wept in a dark room in the back of the house so no one could hear, but you heard the look in her puffy red eyes as you passed each other the next day. The mothers know the numbness, the silence, and the inaction all too well. Your numbness is not apathy. It is not acceptance. It is not giving up. You're numb because you haven't looked away, because you haven't checked out. Your calls for a ceasefire have moved from your lips to your pumping fist to the beat of your heart, a function that exists beyond your conscious decision-making, evolving from something that you do to something that is undeniably a part of you. Your numbness is resilience. It means you're alert, ready for the long road ahead, immovable and steadfast, numb but present. I used to be able to run from that which was crushing my soul. The one-sided longings, the emotional manipulation of crappy roommates, local weirdos who wanted to kick my ass. As soon as I crossed those city limits and entered the rest of the universe, a wave of relief would pick me up and put me on its shoulders, ready to chicken fight whatever was next with a clear, unhindered mind. Now at 40, the high blood pressure, the unhealed wounds, and the hemorrhoids all come with me. You can't outrun that which can outrace time. If you wish to challenge your fate, the slower you move, the better. Inattention reaps no results. For whatever reason, right now, I'm running, and I can't stop. And I don't want to stop. You could be what I'm running from, or what I'm running to. I have enough to run from. I want to run to you. It wasn't totally out of the blue when he put on that album while we were driving through the mountains. A day earlier, I had told him that it was my favorite record. But if he had prefaced his selection with a question as to whether or not I wanted to listen to it, I would have said no, because it is an album that I typically prefer to listen to alone. And as the music came to an end, the words that entered my head were, wow, I can't believe I got through that entire record without crying. But they did not fall from my mouth because I knew if I were to say them out loud, I would break down in tears. And so I said something of such little consequence I have no memory of it, but when I looked over, I saw the dried trail coming from the corner of his eyes, a battered stare and a rain-painted windshield. And I knew that we had felt the same ghosts, and the music had brought us to the same place where we had visited with those memories. And the details might have been different, but the unshakable truths the same. These hollowed moments that we live under, they're an endless obstruction of minutia, an excavation in detail, as the road drove us through the mountains to our common destination. For me, the 4th of July is just the day I bought Maria a $22 cheesecake. I'm not a proud citizen. I'm pissed as fuck that I was born into allegiance into this illegal colony. I can't believe how many of my wages are siphoned off every day to fund atrocities around the globe. I hate patriotism. I hate borders. I hate how much I hate this country, but I love Maria. I'm not sure where Maria lays her head down at night, but she spends her days walking the streets, specifically my street. Walking up and down a busy boulevard, picking up trash, and talking to people. Most of these conversations might feel one-sided as she rapidly expresses herself, adorning a giant smile, but it all comes from such a pure place, a rare outgoing kindness. Every time I see her, she tells me she loves me, and I tell her I love her. I've told her, I love you, significantly more times than I've told that to anyone else in the last 15 years. I was standing in line at the grocery store on the 4th of July, looking at my phone, drowning out the bustle of holiday shoppers, when I realized Maria was talking. She was talking to me. She was asking me if I would buy her something. Wait. What do you want me to buy you? A $22 cheesecake. There was the initial shock of the price, as that was significantly more than I was spending on myself, but that quickly dissipated when I considered how much I owed her for the tireless work she does. Yeah, of course, go get it. The cake she brought back has to be seen to be believed. A $22 cheesecake, gratuitously decorated in American flags and candied fruits. Mango, strawberries, and Old Glory in all its plasticized reverence. Mass-produced. Meaningless. Good Lord, that's a cake. I blurted out as it was handed to me. Today, Maria, I'm celebrating you and your defiance and your beauty as you navigate the cracks in this corrupt institution of a nation with a smile on your face for everyone you meet. I cherish your presence in this community. Happy $22 Cheesecake Day. Well, this is just the part of the set where I throw my guitar on the ground and let it feed back into the amp, and I find a glass bottle and throw it at the wall and let it break, and I just kind of let punk rock take over, everything that it's taught me become real. Because, I mean, your neighbor's cousins are your fucking family, and, you know, to think or act or even entertain the idea that everyone is not bonded to you in some way is a breach of contract that you signed when your cord was cut. Lured into a dead-end alley by my own logic, I loop back to the question, what does one do when prayer isn't an answer? Or what does one do when prayer isn't an option? Well, I guess you just do what you gotta do. You do the work that needs to be done. And it might suck, and it might be painful, but you do it, and it gets done. The way that you've taken the time to be here right now, to expose yourself to something and connect with it. You didn't come here by chance or the result of some grand design. A series of circumstances led you to this moment and this connection. And the hope is that when you leave here, that connection doesn't leave with you. In the darker times when you're looking up out of a hole that you feel you've dug yourself into, can't get out of, the connections that you've made through music, art, community, and the poems that you've heard here tonight are all in there with you. Because there will be lonely times, and times of betrayal, doubt, and unimagined anguish. But in 12 to 24 hours, with the help of all the work that you've done, the worst of it will be over. You'll wake up in the morning, you'll see the sun shining in through your blinds, and there isn't a fucking dickhead in the world that can get elected to the White House who could take this away from you. That light that you see is a whole new day. Simply by opening your eyes once again, you have been gifted a whole new day. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Up next, we have Norm. We both have stuff for sale. It's all very moderately priced. We can work with anything you can give, really.
So I'm going to try to accomplish two things up here. If we're still like feeling it and the vibes work, I'm going to read two poems out of this book that I'm touring with. I read it with my friend Emily. They're much younger than I am, and it was kind of a book in conversation, and I get to get up and read Emily's work because Emily's not on tour, and it was Emily's first book, and so it was like a project that I was really proud of. And I'm going to read two out of this. One of them is unfortunately a little long, but Daryl likes it, and we're going to try it. I think you'll like it. The first one's called Self-Grace. God leaves us to our devices. This is Emily, by the way, but it doesn't matter. We cooked, as Emily would say. God leaves us to our devices. We forget that grace is for ourselves. You were trained by boots and math book beatings, by jails and timeouts, by sickness and starving, by authority, to yield, to surrender, to clock in on time, to pay rent, to pay for time to breathe, to vote and say thank you for the empty calories. You were trained to forget what you deserve. Our trainings were not for our own good. Start by giving yourself the grace of a child. You find it fits just as well, the patience and understanding a creature living life for the first time deserves. Give yourself the grace to recognize your needs and remember your right to have them filled. You will see that self-grace multiply. Bread and fish. A pack of cigarettes isn't for you, it's for everyone. When you recognize others' needs and their rights to take their fill, before you know it, you'll be able to hear the human race. And if you can't hear something, how could you ever save it? This is called Heat Wave because I'm with a younger crowd. I'm just going to point out, I say the word homeless a lot in this. I do that very intentionally. I can't really swallow the unhoused thing because in my head, linguistically, that assumes we're like doing something and that it's not a condition that's being imposed upon them. There is plenty of housing in the world, plenty of resources, plenty of all that shit. We have a distribution problem. So although I have tons of friends in that specific line of activism, I just use it. And also because I've worked around people and I have yet to see very many homeless people tell me they were unhoused. They usually just tell me they're homeless. Forgive me for that. I'm going to do it anyways. This is called Heat Wave. Fuck yeah, Daryl. Driving to work with the window down, hot breath of an angry God spewing in my face. Oh, before I start, also, I bartend in my free time. And I used to live here and do things people do up here. And that's all in here. Driving to work with the windows down, hot breath of an angry God spewing in my face. I feel condemned without even being judged. The heat is a ubiquitous, tangible evil. The evil hangs like a serpent coiled around every square inch of my skin as I pull up to work to find the street flagged off by police tape and a body on the ground, 1 foot sticking out under the tarp. Record highs are an excuse, or an understandable excuse for record violence, says the guy with no AC in his van. But that can't be it. One cop, sitting in the car, enveloped by the cool, calm lifeline of circulating air. If it was murder, half the department would be standing around, loitering, brandishing guns at the ghost of a threat. Gotta be another dead homeless. Probably sat there for hours, still sitting for hours under a tarp while the cop waits for the coroner. Nothing I can do but walk into work. In this country, it is a crime to be destitute, punishable by public execution. Apathy is the weapon, and the only one cop proves it. Now, it took 5 cops to arrest Eric Garner for selling Lucy's on a street corner. 5 cops and a chokehold, and it still, even then, wasn't enough cops to call the paramedics as he died on the pavement. In this magical city, dropped askew in a desert, they have convention centers that stay empty while folks die of heat exhaustion. They got suits that let a man exist in outer space but not enough beds at the shelter. What kind of world even needs shelters? Another nasty accounting trick to balance out the scarcity of a functional real estate market. Would I be less self-righteous if the drive to work had air conditioning? It's too hot to live. Too hot to lay down and die. Too hot to wipe the sweat off. It just evaporates on the skin. Too hot for justice or for this poem to make sense. Too hot to care about the dead, and especially when your air conditioner doesn't work. I had a cop put his hands around my neck once, outside a bar in the Wild West, where even the cops get shot if they can't follow the rules. 120 degrees, the news says. And this country is on the verge of blowing itself apart. And madness is a sales pitch for how to save you and yours. Would I get out of my car in 120 degrees when it was already too late, all for the sake of a dead man's dignity? I stand at the bar asking questions to kill the time between Long Islands until a young, handsome kid wearing sunglasses indoors strolls up, friendly enough, explains how he wants to write a book about his adventures as a pickup artist, asks me if I have any life advice. Grace, I say. What do you mean? Don't wait for people to earn your forgiveness. You'll die a bitter man. And that goes double when it's time to forgive yourself. I think about a cop outside a bar with his hand around my neck. Now, I could see the fear in his partner's eyes, her hair pulled tight in a sheen and a neat ponytail as the moment became disheveled. Fear at moving so casually outside the law in a place where the law was already tenuous at best, and the good guys were vastly outnumbered by outlaws like me. But that's not what I'm remembering. It was the fear in his eyes that followed, that snuck up on me mid-wheeze. I see it in the homeless all the time. Ignore it half the time. Look down, look away. Did the cops see it in Garner's eyes? Did they see it in each other's? Was that before or after? It depends on so many factors, like civilization goes right out the window at certain temperatures. A boiling country hovering over the open burner of content, of media content or infotainment. It's not content if a homeless man dies in a heat wave. No one wants to see that. And no one wants to hear about it, so it's not news either. But a young boy in sunglasses inside a bar asks what the world has in store for him. And I don't want to break the mirror contained in that question. Make all the bad luck explicit, but just tell him that a fractured reflection has as much to teach us as any other perspective. I read Andrew's article about the homeless struggling in the heat right before I left for the shift. Folks he talks to every day since it's his neighborhood. I think about him running in the early morning with his beard and his smooth Buddha eyes, and I know he would have stopped. Would I, though? As furious as the drive makes me in 120 degrees, only to watch handsome boys who know nothing spill enough confidence to water acres of golf courses, but not a drop to spare to wet the lips of a dying Eric Garner. 5 cops. Could I take 5 cops? Could I reason with 5 cops outside a bar in the Wild West? Is that easier or harder than 2? 2, and I already had a hand around my throat. Plus, we all had air conditioning that night. It's so silly trying to calculate what a man's life is worth, what it isn't. Just give me Andrew's compassion. I pray to saccharine gods too perfect to understand such human concerns as how long the coroner takes to make arrangements for the body on a sweltering day where no one wants to do shit but lay down. His foot stuck out from under the tarp like a single loose cigarette. Now, there's a haiku about human nature. And the mountain it makes of coincidence. The snow that finally covers it like the missing body bag, like the frigid promise of an AC unit on full blast during the heat wave that keeps us all from going nuts at once. Well, most of us. Okay, this is for some friends of mine. This is called Measure Twice and Spray Forever. The canopy was made of sound, and that sound had a look. The leaves sparkled and shivered audibly as I danced around like some bearded wood nymph through 2 hoop houses. The boss man had brought me a 2-fist size Ziploc of fungus for morale that I was working my way through instead of my normal diet of whatever tin can beer was cheapest at the Everything outpost, past the dirt road only a mile or 2 once you hit asphalt. Then again, I still had the beer in one hand, atomizer nozzle in the other, since my coworker was in town on leave, working the bar scene for a spot of companionship memorable enough to hold him through the next 2-week shift. I was in my knife-hemmed denim shorts with no respirator. Couldn't let OSHA interfere with my beer-swilling enchantment. The narrow and spindly evergreen pines swung over my head like ladders to a hunch I couldn't pin down. The respirator kept humming like a reverse vacuum cleaner, vomiting whatever noxious chemicals where I could lap them up easy as the plants. I felt weak and lightheaded, but that was just the body high. A pleasant dying inside, faintly perceived like the tracers of a past self, dodging between the same plants in a parallel universe. For one eternal and tumbling dusk, I was not worried about the helicopters that kept buzzing us. All the while, the heads of the crop got fatter, bulbous and sticky like vegetal lollipops, bulging out of the mouth of the canopy as the smooth shorn faces of stern men smiled down from inside their glass birds of prey at the certainty that they could bust our skulls at any moment if they wanted. No one else this far out but other criminals. So no, there wasn't much that any of us couldn't get away with, if that's what we felt like. I was just another bearded wood nymph, swaying easy as the plants, as the breeze of righteous retribution washed over whatever spider mites had survived the previous battery. I was certain to keep them coming, like the Germans had with London. It wasn't personal. This was a business, and it only paid at some distant moment in the future I still had yet to make it to. I stared into the fog like a crystal ball, only to realize, and so very abruptly, now, wait a minute. And as it turns out, there was no fog at all. The atomizer was, in fact, empty. Feeling so good from the psilocybin, I'd simply forgotten to fill it. Oh, boyo, how the alphabet boys laughed as they trained for the real narcos down south. No need to bother with me. I was primed to do it to myself. And the mites laughed with the joy of another day to feast before the acidic soup dried their tiny bodies out. And then even I had to laugh. You heard the boss. The sun would fall only to rise again, sure as the Brits tore Dresden down. So we could sort this out tomorrow, but at least for tonight, morale was good. I have one final one, and I am glad that that statue's not there anymore for several reasons. For practical reasons, so as not to fall off it, and also just for like the reasons that y'all took it down in the first place. But this is a poem about that statue. Hold on, give me 1 sec. I'm finding it. This is a book I'm working on called Statute of Limitations, and I normally have books, and so I'm not used to doing it this way. Oh God. Okay. This is called Where the Old Gods Hide Out. And when I finish, before I go, Daryl and I are on tour. We have books. I don't have prices on mine, but that's because they're a sliding scale. So ask me about it, because it is a sliding scale up to and including. If you're just not in the financial shape to get one and really want one, you could definitely have one. We don't do this to get rich. I don't know how many rich poets y'all have met, but I have yet to read one or meet one. Yeah. So it's like, we really do this to get our work out and to share and create that community. And it seems like half crazy until you start doing it and you meet the people, and that makes it all worth it. So thank y'all for coming out. Thank all the local poets for coming out, you know. Thank Daryl for sitting in the car and listening to me ramble for hours. I am the golden retriever to his black cat. And again, this is called Where the Old Gods Hide Out. An entire summer, and they open the floodgates of the hills every October to ease the brewing insanity. Huge party at the square in Arcata where everybody managed to get dressed up in costumes. Smelly hippies who hadn't worn anything but the same hoodie and Birkenstocks for months, bespoke in glitter and cardboard and secondhand alterations. We all got bedazzled, inside and out, and climbed the same statue of some old white frontiersman asshole who hacked up natives all the way into the history books. We climbed the same statue every year, and even when the occasional burnout lost their grip and fell, they had a soft landing into the roiling crowd beneath. It must have been a sight to anybody just passing through. This communal, collective, unhinging made into a brilliant spectacle, like the Aztecs gathering at the bottom of the pyramid to dance before the knife fell. None of us had any business in public yet. Most of us still had weed hanging in dry houses as the rains battered 3 layers of tarp and the propane bills skyrocketed through the wet season, closing the misty curtain behind summer. And yet, every year, the half-broken drove their deteriorating suspensions and duct-taped rear-view mirrors down rickety roads, getting worse by the day, to make this weird pilgrimage up the same goddamn statue. Or at least every single year I was there, crying out to the many ancient deities that couldn't get all the way out those dirt roads to find us. There were still gods in hiding, it appeared. Gods that might have understood us as we were, but they didn't have 4-wheel drive. So we went it alone every day except All Hallows Eve, where they met us out in the open. Now, in that same square, there was an old hotel, and when the occasional but rare day off came along, I'd splurge on a room, try to pretend to be normal. The statue was barely noticeable without all the bodies hanging off, dressed like pirates or vampires or whatever C-list celebrity, but it was still there anyways, biding its time. In fact, I stayed 3 days once with a lover, longest break that year, and the sunlight paled near to translucent as it crawled up her skin, and we slept in past tarps. A secret joy I couldn't have communicated to her. Only left to eat casual dinners at all the nicest places because everyone is still rich on credit before the crop comes in, makes more difficult choices about their economics. Now, did I mention we made love over and over? And yes, we did, although it never lost the urgency, living as we were between the pages of time, over and over and over again. It probably wasn't so much, but it felt like that, or I felt it anyway. I had no business being there. Madness still hung off my body like how the scent of rain outlasts the storm by at least a couple days. We would lie in bed, and I would stare out at the statue, while she fretted over my tan and burnished skin with the tips of her fingers, grazing until I felt the urge in my legs, my spine suddenly compressed like a spring dangerously charged. That urge to climb higher and higher until the edge of the world was all that's left, beyond which what's really left is just to fall off back into the gaping maw of crowd where you are only one of the many, where love is only the mechanics of the hive turning together in ecstasy. But the old gods weren't there in that hotel room. Just her. And it was truly terrifying to realize that. Thank you so much.
Hey, let's hear it for Norm one more time. To speak to what you just said, like, poets don't do this to be rich or famous, because and when they do, so someone I love so much in this world is Brandon Leake. He won America's Got Talent. He was the first spoken word poet ever. He was given $1 million. Richest poet I've ever met. Do you know what Brandon Leake does with $1 million? Yes, he opens space with that money. He opens places. He's part of a nonprofit. He creates room for us all to keep doing that. That's what he does with that money. That's what we do for each other. And I just invite you, in this next 10 minutes, we have a little music in the background from Brandon's going to cue that on now or whenever he can. And in these next few minutes, go see these poets, because they have come from Los Angeles and Las Vegas to Arcata, California. Right? Why? Because they want to meet each one of you and talk for these next 10 minutes and give you some of their merch. And maybe you can give them some money, or you can give them like a brownie you made. Thank you for the brownie, or a cookie. That's what the invitation is now. And then we're going to come up here. I'm going to do Greg B and Friends, and you're all my friends, so we're going to do it together. All right. Thank you. Could I get 1 dB up on Max Wander Public Transit? And if you know the words to anything, you can sing along and talk. And you don't have to be quiet anymore. Just be a little louder, just a bit. Just like one more creep higher, please, for public transit, our friend. No, you turned it down. Louder for the music that you're, yeah. Play. What's up with that? Today. Everybody now. Oh, I feel like a woman today. Wants to listen to the words I have to say. I feel like a woman today. Everybody now, I feel. Oh, I feel like a woman today. Like no one wants to listen to the words I have to say. I feel like a woman today. Hey, y'all, do we want one more song to do our things? Yeah, let's take one more song, this song. When this song's over, we're going to zoom back into something else now. So enjoy. This is one of my favorite songs. So this is our friend from Public Transit, Max Wander, and their friend at the time. Comedy and uncomfortable, I guess. So if anyone has ever wanted to be in a band, it's as simple as just practicing, like anything. You practice like how to tie your shoe, And you do it a lot, and then you know how. Same thing. Singing, just start. And this is the time. Maybe of how to redo a bathroom and we pretend to be domestic. And if you get to a point where you're on a stage, warm up a little like this first, get your voice. It is hotter when you're on stage. Let's go. So if you're on stage, warming up your voice, get your temperature good. So progressive, right? We're transgressive. Jokes. Strong legs and bicycle spokes. Bicycle spokes. We're pretty. Love is abundant. Easy way. Can you turn on my this thing sound, but keep Mary going and Max going, and just have a little like this to start. Yeah, keep it. I don't hear any clicking in my monitor yet. Not the mic so far anymore. Scarlett, I'm gonna buy a bike, and I'm not gonna have the bike so far anymore. Okay, welcome to back from outer space to outer space. I don't know. I do have some food in my mouth. So this is the first ever time this band has ever played, and this band will never play again. This band is Greg B. and Friends, and I look around the room. I know half of you are my friends. I have a set intention here. It's going to include a lot of you. So the reason this band will never play again, because this combination of all of us in this space together, this will never happen again, right? This is our moment now. So we're all Greg B. and Friends. If you haven't met me yet, I'm Greg B. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the band. We're in a band now. So the first thing I would like this band to do, so this all started, what we're happening here, talking about like touring a month and a half ago. My new homie I just met today, Norm, hits me up on the Instagrams, yeah? So just to give you a context, like this moment didn't happen by accident. Lots of volunteers, lots of emails, lots of logistical things to get us this moment. And Norm, this is an invitation you have to take. I'd like to just set this intention that now you're free to move about this space in any way that feels good in your body. The bathroom is that way down the stairs. You can go down there and use it any time. I could be in the middle of the most something. You go down and use your bathroom and drink your water. There's snacks around. I have some I have an extra chocolate boogie. And yeah, so Norm, if you do want to come up, if it feels good for you, I just would like to tell you something about what you just said about us homeless folks. I just want to speak to it because I've been one of those people, those homeless people. And you don't have to be on stage, but you could be near me, or I would love if you're just up here, really. But I'll just talk to you here. So there's this logical fallacy thing I've noticed where like people who are living in houses, right, the house, they're the ones leading the conversations and policies about folks like me who have been homeless lots of years of life. Right now I'm in a house, it's nice, but we can all be that again. And yeah, I don't know anyone on the streets who says that they're houseless. There's plenty of houses. And I just want to read that back to you. And like this song is Derek from Homeless Gospel Choir. He gave me this shirt. We've all been homeless before, and not again, and maybe even in the future. So let's not let people in the houses decide how we're going to identify people who are experiencing the homelessness, because when you're cold, it's homeless. I'll tell you that. And everyone out there, my homies, like, that's where they're at, right? And they're welcome in this space always, right? Because outer space is dope like that. That's just what I want to say to you. And thank you for coming up and looking forward to more of this. And yeah, you're always welcome here, and we'll see you on the road. So I've set an intention. The next thing on there is my friend Dylan. Is Dylan present? Oh, here he is. So Dylan, before I called out to Dylan a request of mine, a desire of my favorite poem from Dylan, he did it, and instead, he wasn't doing the short poem that you were intending, right? So you want to hop up and read your poem for me, and I'll play the little sounds? Yeah, cool. Let's do it. So this is a shorter poem. We're going to improvise little sounds, and I'm just going to like this. Cool. All right, here's Dylan on the mic again. We love Dylan because without Dylan, there's no Greg B. There's no that book back there. Dylan received me when I got here, him and Will, and wow, so many spaces you've held, homie, and like I love you forever. And you know, I miss when I'm on tour and I don't hear you snore now. You know that, right, homie?
I'm gonna just sit with you, Greg. Oh, got you. Where? Hi, guys. Sweet. Ready? Thanks, Greg. All right. I forgot how to write. Pictures of purple fields, only flowers today. Pictures of the dead, genocides only covered on friends' social feeds. Funds from my check do not feed families in famine. I check for understanding between the lines of headline news. It's impossible to breathe every time they tell you to. The gray-blue transition from thunderstorm summer skyline catches my breath. Lungs lend me all the salt from the Atlantic I swallowed in 2002. It's impossible to breathe every time they tell you to. The air I exhale, exhausted from holding 22 years. They tell you, be here now. In the moment you wish to be a pine tree your grandmother sang to in anything but time. Pictures of us, alive, in love, next to all the seeds you turned into flowers. Pictures of a life that felt like sleeping before I met you. Pictures of me standing by a headstone with a haiku holding everything lost. We planted a tree in Brooklyn, begging the oxygen would someday flicker back, finally exhale. 22 years later, holding my breath and somehow still alive. Yeah. Thanks, Greg. Get up. Go, Greg.
Star, are you ready for your moment of set intention? All right, come on. This is Stardust, Plutonium, my friend Star, and they came in and they were like, "Hey, Greg, you just missed my set at Outer Space." Is the words. The intention was your set next door at the open mic that's happening now. Yeah, come on up. And it was just funny because I was like, actually, you're right on time for your set at Outer Space because you're my friend and this is Greg being friend. So this is Star, and we know each other, but we didn't plan this. So. Just do whatever you want. Do you want a guitar or a kazoo or a voice? What are you feeling?
Probably, the voice and.
You want to warm up or breathe?
Yeah.
I'll just make sounds until you're out.
So yeah. Hello, I'm Star. Me and Greg have been friends for a little bit. I met them through, I think it was The Thing first. And we kind of just been friends ever since. Doing I did this thing called Queer Tea and Tarot, and that's kind of where we started to actually talk and get to know each other. So yeah. Okay, this is just kind of my warm-up to get used to being up here on stage, because I'm okay. And I'm also trying to think of what I want to do. If you want, yeah, can I have the guitar? Because I'll probably try and sing because I thought you would really like it. I was sad that you weren't there.
I know.
I don't need this.
I was trying to be at 2 places at once, but guess what? I'm only here.
That's okay.
Okay, let's go.
If you want, you can pat on the ground for a beat.
Are you versed to this?
No, actually, that would be really great. Oh, I gotta take this off. It's time for me to show you who I really am. Now it's time to show you that it's time to step up and show yourself who you really are. It's time to do something different this time. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then I guess I'll spell it out. I'm talking about starting a revolution. I'm talking about starting a revolution. I'm so tired of seeing all my friends cold. I'm tired of hearing how they're hungry, living paycheck to paycheck. I can't stand this, not one more minute of seeing all the pain that these systems are creating. Time to start a revolution. Give me some of that kazoo.
The line is, it's ready to start a revolution, yeah? So we all saying with Star, so we're ready to start a revolution.
Start a revolution. Start a revolution. One that's full of love and care for one another. One where we start looking out for each other. They can't stop us if we move together. They can't stop us if we move together. But we can only do that if we practice love. And you can only practice love on one another. So come together. Come together. It's time, it's time, it's time, it's time to do something about all this trouble and pain in the world. I'm tired, I can't live in this world as it is anymore. As it is anymore. I don't know about you, but I feel that way fucking for sure.
Thank you, everybody.
When you play so hard, you bleed.
Yeah, and Star might be gone for now, say bye, or it might come back later, who knows? So also, I like that in these spaces, like collective spaces, we're having conversations about decolonizing, right? We think about the borders across this land we're on that have been invented, yeah? And then we start, there's a lot of conversation also around our minds, yeah? But what about our little spaces here? Does anyone see any borders? And we can decolonize our home loving spaces, right? Then we decolonize everything. Yeah? So I invite you to come spend a little space. There's some cozy blankets and snacks and water, and you can be more closer to the that. So yeah, that's an invitation. And also, we're gonna play some music now. So the next intention is to put on the guitar again. And also remind you that you have agency and you can go to the bathroom or go outside or leave for good. You don't have to say bye to me or anything. This is a moment-to-moment consensual agreement. All right. So I wrote this when, can I get a little, just a tiny bit in the monitor? So I wrote this song when I was straight up homeless, right? But people think that there's something inherently horrible about homelessness, and there's for problems, but sometimes having nothing and having like a lot of very little, it opens up space for you to understand what you currently have and become grateful. And that's what this song is about. Yeah. Stardust Plutonium, everybody. On Instagram is Stardust Plutonium. And this is a song about that. It goes something like this. It goes, oh, well, I've got $9 in food stamps. It ain't halfway through the month, and the bank account is overdraft. Those fees keep adding up. But a stranger on the street just stopped and gave me $20. Because sometimes when you ask for help, people really do show up. And I am grateful. I'm so grateful for everything. That's the wrong note. I am grateful. I am grateful for everything. I've got this guitar, and I've got friends, and I've got love and community. I've got a minivan with everything that I could ever need. I've got a French press filled with coffee and hot oatmeal to eat. And I know it might sound like my life's a total friggin' mess, but I just watched the sunset over the Santa Barbara beach, and it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And I'm grateful, so grateful for all of you. Grateful, so grateful for everything, because I've got love, community, and quite frankly, what else could I need? 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 Because I am grateful. Thank you kindly. All right. So we're getting to the middle of whatever I'm doing, and I have no concept of time, but I know this show is running really early. It's, I don't know, 9? Oh, there's a clock. Great job, Brandon. 9:21 is the time in PM in the Pacific Central Time. And I'm just going to keep doing this till we're resolved. I think it'll be about 10 or 15 minutes. But in this moment, I would like to invite you kind of a little into this space I talked about, because I really need your help. We are in Arcata, and we're those of you who are traveling, welcome. But also, I really do need your community support here, and especially if you're one of these people that is pretty established. Like, oh yeah, I'm Greg's friend, right? Like Greg being friends can begin here, and yeah, there is some. My friend here just made this. This can happen if you want. Okay, yeah, you are starving. See? So this is like mutual aid. Like, you just brought me these cookies. You did ask me a day or two ago, like, oh, do you want cookies or whatever? I was like, yeah, cookies. I forgot about them, but here they are. I ate them, and now I'm feeling good now. So are you. So, so this song, if you haven't already started to kind of be in a different space, is a song that is like a little bit fun. So I was driving home up the 101 back here to Arcata, and I noticed that there was a new Starbucks coffee place on the 101 driving north. And I thought to myself, I was like, I don't like that. I was like, so when I was like 16, I was a black anarchist, self-proclaimed. We would throw, bricks through the windows, yeah? People are familiar with the 1999 Seattle protest. It was a big thing, throwing the bricks through the windows. So I was like, all right, so it's 24 years later or something, and I am 40, and I have a lot of things to worry about. I'd rather than commit that crime. I'd rather imagine a better world where I'm not in jail and I could come here and do this, and I can plant the idea in your head that if we could somehow occupy or squat that Starbucks, in this world, everything is possible. So I invite you, I'm going to sing a little bit of this. You're going to get the idea of it, but there's going to be a part in about a moment where I'll ask you to just name anything you desire that you think is not possible, like decolonizing spaces or freeing Palestine or anything in the realm of like completely impossible, or even just that, like, I don't know, someone will text you back when you want them to, yeah? So we'll name those things out and then we'll sing them together, all right? You got me? So it goes like this. Right? Oh, no, it goes. Yeah, that's it. So, we're going to have free health care for all when we squat the Starbucks in Eureka. Okay, you got me? You get the idea already, right? What else? So my friend here used to work at, what is it? Fill empty houses, sure. So my friend here just says we're going to fill empty houses. So all together, we're going to fill empty houses, right? When we squat the Starbucks in Eureka. So Mad River Birthing Center just closed. My homie works there. And that closed. But you know what's going to happen when we squat the Starbucks in Eureka? What's going to happen? We're going to reopen the birthing center when we squat the Starbucks in Eureka, yeah? So on 3, 1, 2, 3. We'll get to yours next. 1, 2, 3. We're going to open the birthing center when we squat the Starbucks in Eureka. What'd you have? Food on every plate. Yeah, I love that. We're going to have food on every plate when we squat the Starbucks in Eureka. Cool. We're going to do what? Get all the cops and get... Oh, yes, let's kill the cop in our head. This is a great topic in the zine back there. Seth Tabachman wrote something about this. So there is a cop in my brain. There's also the person who colonized my indigenous ancestor in my brain. We're gonna say it again. Kill the cops in our brain, right? Not in the... Yeah, if we kill the cop in our head and everyone does that, we don't have to kill anybody, right? Okay, here we go. All together. On 3. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna kill the cop in our brain when we squat the Starbucks in Eureka. Oh, wow. Amelia? We met cooking soup in the plaza, yeah? That's how we know each other. And now we're talking, having conversations around how to help our homies in this town who are experiencing mental health crisis, yeah? So what we're going to do is we're going to dismantle the carceral mental health system. That's the system of locking people who are experiencing somewhat like this in prison for it in a locked killer. So we're going to dismantle the carceral mental health system when we squat the Starbucks. It goes like this. Just follow on. We're gonna everybody take a breath. All right. This is also like I think the show might be over. I think this is our band practice now. So let's just lean into that. Okay. Here's our band practice. So all right, we're gonna work this out. You got this? Get it. Go. You know what's fun when you're allowed to take a picture of something happening on stage and you can't. You know, because they're about doing it. But when you just be like, hold on. Right? Okay. So we are going to dismantle the carceral mental health system. When we squat the Starbucks in Eureka, we're going to dismantle the carceral mental health system when we squat the Starbucks in Eureka. And you know what else we're going to do? We're going to free everyone in the Humboldt County Jail, too, when we squat the Starbucks in Eureka. But before we do that, we need to build systems of mutual aid, and we're going to need to do transformative justice practice. So when those homies released, we can accept them back into our communities and do processes with them to help them recover rather than You know, we've had them in jails, right? So we'll do all that when what? We squat. Yeah. Okay. All right, so we gotta end this song soon. Brendan, please, you have what?
They're actually building 2 new Starbucks in Eureka, which might actually be good for us because we can squat both of them. We get
Yes,
as much good
dude.
when we squat both the Starbucks.
Okay, so we're gonna have twice as much possibility when we squat both Starbucks in Eureka, Brandon. Let's go. We're gonna squat both squats. The chance of possibilities, all the things possible. We squat both Starbucks. All right, okay, you get the idea. There's a whole other part of this song where we start saying about the things we don't have to do anymore, right? We don't have to worry about identity politics or voting for the lesser of two fascists, and we don't have to do any of these things. We can just live in harmony and take care of ourselves, and not to meet top ADA, because we can just help our homies in the building, and we do all sorts of things when we squat the Starbucks in Eureka. Halfway through this, thank you. Honestly, let's do it this way too. Yeah, thank you, because we all created this together. Yeah. Okay, so I've on my set intention. So I've been touring. You know, I was 16 years old. I hopped in a car to Boston from New Jersey, gone tour, and then 20s I'm like Deagle band is a band, and we toured Warped Tour and up and down and out to here, and then I don't know. I was touring with Dylan and Collins poetry and. I love doing this. I love just being in community, but I always write a set list, yeah? Bands, you go see them, they have their set list. It's a very set list. And I was like, I'd rather just have some intentions about what might happen. So I have a set intention, yeah? But I'm like with these kids in Sub Rose the other day, and I'm like, all right, here's my set intention. And I'm just like, wait, did I just set an intention? Yeah, that's right. That's what I did. Didn't even realize the pun. The best things happen when you don't expect them. The best things happen when we're just here. We're not looking at our phones. We're just here with each other, right? This is nice. Okay, so the next thing we're halfway through this set and intention, and please drink water, go to the bathroom, go outside, and not smoke a cigarette. Just take some breaths. And okay, here we go. So the last one is, yeah. Okay. Can you yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Dylan Collins. That was the best request I ever got, Dylan. Oh, yeah, I do too. I love you and other people too. And you. Okay. Oh, see? The unexpected. So we got a couple more things on this intentional list. So we got Starbucks down. What's DC poem? Oh, that's Dylan Collins' poem. We did that. Norm about homelessness. Yeah, homie, I love you. Super stoked to make this connection with you. And we're just going to create like a little BART train that goes from like the Bay, Santa Cruz, Humboldt, up to the Pacific Northwest, directly to Lancaster at April's house, and we're just gonna navigate life like this. Okay, so we got 2 more things. What's the last things? Sing along. Oh, this is the fun part. Okay, hold on. So there's this here, yeah? So it has some magical stuff in it. And I will give one to my friend Dylan, and you can just look at that. And I would like everyone to just look at Dylan as he looks at it. Look at his face, how he reads it. Isn't that something special? I don't know what does that say? I don't know. This is here. Take it, and you can join in this sing-along space now. And the sing-along is going to happen more, so we're back in like elementary school. We're like children again. And we're having a little sing-along circle time. And if you're into that, we could do that in here now. Oh, yeah, you got yours? We'll put these a little closer because we don't want to. They can also be passed, yes. Also, once you get the kind of idea of what it says, and you got it, just give it to your neighbor. We're going to share with our neighbors. Okay. And so I just wrote these lines. Is anyone a community member can just sit here and hold this for me? Right, yeah. Is Brandon the person? Are you able to? You'll just make it. This is what community looks like. You ask for what you need, and your friends grab it for you. Thank you, Brandon. I love you. Thanks for. Yeah, I got it. Thanks for letting me use your truck to move my stuff to my new house. I really like my new house, and I hope you come to my birthday party. Oh yeah, I have a birthday on the 21st. I turned 40, and everyone here is invited to the party next day at my house. Just see me about details. Okay, here we go. I think a good chord progression for this is G, A, D. It's a good, easy sing-along. And could you, Scarlett, hey, I need one of those because I forgot the lyrics already. That's why I made them. You ever like in the crowd and you're like, everyone's singing along, you don't know the words, and you don't know how to remember them? Okay, here we go. And I think we'll do it like this, and then we'll sing the first verse like 4 times, and then we'll switch to the chorus, and we'll sing that 4 times, and that will be it. And then or anything else can happen. And I invite you into our little sing-along time. Okay, so we're back in. Oh, and this is my chicken Jenny, and she's here. All right, here we go. Thank you. Okay, it goes. There's a verse. Got that. I think we'll do a little slower, yeah. We're gonna up the folks. Yo, wait. Oh, so it's up the punks, right? Up the punks, up the folks. Y'all means y'all. Let's folk shit up. Up the punks and up. Up the punks and up the folks. And y'all means all. Let's fuck shit up. We're gonna up the punks and up the folks. Y'all means all. Let's folk shit up. We're gonna up the punks and up the folks. Y'all means y'all, let's folk shit up. We're gonna up the punks and up the folks. Y'all means all, let's folk shit up. One more time, everybody. We're gonna up the punks, up the folks. Y'all means all, let's folk shit up. Okay, now we're gonna switch to the chorus. I don't know. So I just said these words at the other day. It says chorus, yeah. So the chorus is folk. So I did this as like kind of a rap because I was listening to Ra perform over. And it goes, folk, punk, hippies, cuddle, puddle in the circle pit. You got it. So can I just not sing it and try to play the beat? Can you do the folk, punk, hippies, cuddle, puddle in this? Is anyone like a rapper here or want to do it? We'll all do it. So it's going to be like, boom. So let's forget the chords. We'll go folk, punks. Folk, punk, hippies, cuddle, puddle in the circle pit. Folk, punk, hippies, cuddle, puddle in the circle pit. Folk, punk, hippies, folk, punk, hippies, cuddle, puddle in the circle pit. Folk, punk, hippies, cuddle, puddle in the circle pit. Everybody, punk, hippies, cuddle, puddle in the circle pit. Folk, punk, hippies, cuddle, puddle in the circle pit. All right, and then we'll go back to the verse one more time, and it's just this is how I'll end it for this song, and then there'll be one more thing maybe, and I invite you to come on in. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna. Oh yeah, you do it. All right, 1, 2, 3, go. Up the punks, and up the folks. Y'all means all. Let's folk shit up. We're gonna up the punks, up the folks. Y'all means all. Let's folk shit up. We're gonna up the punks, up the folks. Y'all means all, let's folk shit up. Everybody, so Greg B and friends has been Dylan Collins. We got Crystal over here, Scarlett, all of you. Hi, thank you for bringing all that. And everybody I don't know, I'd love to meet you. And we're gonna do one more thing, I think, and then that'll be it. And then, thank you. Hi. We're doing something, Dylan, and we're doing it however we want. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Set intention. We did that. Norm. We talked about that. Dylan. Starbucks. Star came up. Sing along, and then we're gonna switch the container. See how like the space is a little different. We did that, and then we're gonna wing it. I don't know what that means. Could anybody? Because I haven't had my cell phone so long. Does someone like call my phone back in time and just ask me what that meant? I don't know. Okay. Is that? Wait, do chickens have wings? Yeah, they do, right? So we're gonna wing it. Okay. All right. Cool. All right, and then be present. Hold space. It's weird to hold space in outer space. So I think this part is just let's breathe for a minute and who in this space needs something, a desire, a need, or who's someone that doesn't say things a lot? Because I'm someone that says a lot. Maybe I want to do a poem. Yeah, maybe I'll do a poem. So, okay, that's one available option we've got. Greg does some poem that he doesn't know yet, but maybe he does. But is there someone in here like who never says stuff, who wants something to... There's like I'm going to have about 30 seconds of space where we just hold the space together. Does that make sense? we're just like holding space for someone who kind of needs to say like, hey, maybe I need a lift home, or maybe I need a couple bucks. So there's 30 seconds for that, and just maybe so it's not totally silent. I'll just do a little. This is the space, outer space to say anything. I'm really happy you're all here. Yeah, this is really special. Thank you for being part of this. Okay. So the next person that says something, it could be what they need to say, or you can ask me a poem that I might know how to do, and I can do that. And then we'll just leave here and be together. And we have the stuff over there. Those pink books are sliding scale donation based. Some of them will go to outer space, some will be for more books. I don't know what's going to happen to that. That could be $15 or less. Everything else there is free, distributed by this free store over there. It's called Everything Is Free Now. Follow them on Instagram. There's all sorts of free dope stuff, and that stuff's brought to you there. So just take it. It's yours. And the next thing will be either what someone has to say or a poem they want me to do. Okay. They're all my favorite. I mean, the one you read was my favorite poem, Dylan. But what's your favorite poem? We were on the road together, right? What poems did you and I write together in Seattle and Portland? Like, which ones? I remember your recipe poem. So we had a writing prompt in Slam City, and it was to just write a poem that was a recipe. Dude, Dylan fucking cooked up a hot one on that. Man, that was a hot dish of soup that we all loved. I wrote a few. What would you like? Manic Episode I wrote on that poem. So this poem is called, so this poem is not a song, and I'll probably lose the guitar maybe. But I do want to say something about it. We're at 9:39 Pacific time, and that means something to people who have work in the morning, but we have about 3 more minutes of this, and do what you need to do always. Every moment is a choice to what you want or don't. But I wrote this poem. It's called How to Write a Manic Episode in 11 Parts. And yeah, it's a fire poem. And you know what? Button Poetry, they had me sign a whole disclosure deal. They were going to publish it. They kind of just never did. And I reached out to them. I was like, hey, I'd like to post this. They're like, yeah, go ahead. That's fine. Yeah, we're not going to litigate you for that. Anyway, but I thought about before releasing this poem into the wild, I don't like, I want to edit it. So I wrote this poem about having bipolar disorder, and this is an explanation of that. The poem is like, and I've had people come up to me and they'd be like, Greg, thank you so much. Like, you know, people, I feel like I understand my bipolar friend, or I'm bipolar and I feel like I'm understood. I think there were some good things, but I'm starting to decolonize my experiences on this planet and not view them through like a Western medical terminology for my experience. And I'm finding liberation in that, and I share that with you as I do this poem for the first time in a while. And I feel like if I'm going to just do a poem without sounds, I would really just like to invite you all here to be like with me, more like we're not at a space, you know, like we're not like at a venue, like more just like I don't know, we're like me and Dylan, like what? Is that something my face? Thank you. Dude, that's like a super sweet mom move. Like, just wipe it off. Okay, so Outer Space actually closed half hour ago. We're hanging out in our living room, and I just want to tell you a poem, like how I did when we were at Julia's house and there, right? Remember? And we were doing our poems and just reading to them in the living room. Like, I'm feeling like we just want to do that. So it goes like this. What's the first word? This is not my baseline. This is what a manic episode looks like in 11 parts. 1, I was driving my car 100 miles an hour down the interstate, and as the road ahead of me banked to the left, I wondered what would happen if I went right instead. If I went right instead. I just lit up a cigarette. I have smoked a lot of cigarettes since then. 2. I wrote another poem called Skinny Jeans. It's a funny poem. I use humor as a way to get the audience, that's you, to like me. It's a thing I do. This isn't that poem. This is a poem I wrote on the tour with Dylan Collins. This is something else. 3, Holly, I'm sorry that I hurt you. I'm sorry, Holly, because I was on tour and I said I was like, I said some things that hurt you, and I love you, and you know that, and we've talked about this like a million times. It's there, but I'm sorry that hurt you. I didn't mean to. No one ever really means to, I don't think, or sometimes they do mean to, but that's not what's important. 4, when what was 4, Dylan? 4 is something. 5, when you're depressed and suicidal, you forget every Facebook message on Instagram that says, like, call me anytime, we'll make coffee and talk. You text your best friends the words, I need help, but you don't hit send because you don't want to be a burden, you know? And you don't need to do that anymore. I mean, I don't do that anymore. When I need help, I ask, yeah? 6. 6 is, Dylan, help me out, man. 6, what's 6? 6 is like, sometimes, I'm doing all the numbers I remember. 6 is like this. 6 is like, sometimes, so here's like, number 6. Sometimes when, this is ironic, you're gonna like this actually. 6, sometimes I'm talking so fast that my mouth can't keep up and people can't understand what I'm saying. And you get it. It's a whole fast part where I talk really fast. So it's like, all right, we'll do like this. 6, sometimes I talk so fast because I'm thinking so fast that my mouth can't keep up. And I'm scared that I'll forget what I'm saying, but forget to think about whether or not I should actually say the things. 9, sorry I said them. So in that recording, Dylan says, I'm sorry I said them. You can hear it on the track. And yeah, 10, right? So this is 11 parts. We got 10 here. 10. And this is true because, so this like the poem, you know, was like 5 years ago. But, you know, I was just at Blue Lake Casino, like, I don't know, a while ago. And the same thing was true then. And it was just this. It was just like, 10. I'm in the casino, you know. And I put, you guys know roulette, yeah? So I'm in the casino and I put 100 of my American dollars on black. That's what I would always do, black, because I could make a lot of money, right? And the reason I did it was because it had hit 5, like it had red 5 times in a row, and you're thinking to yourself, well, if it's hit red 5 times in a row, how many times could it hit red again? So you bet back, yeah. So, but actually, it can hit red 6 times in a row. It happens all the time. 11, Bukowski said that poetry is what happens when nothing else can. Right now, nothing else can. And I'm not Charles Bukowski, and I'm happy that, because I'm Greg B. And I think oh, right. Oh, I forgot it was a show. Anyone who's touched the stage who feels called to like do maybe a curtain call bow or something there? We can do that, and then we'll put. Anyone want? Okay. Well, Jenny and me, we thank you, and I'll see you. Like I live here, y'all. Like let's hang out, let's do stuff. Thank you.